In this 5 on Friday, I'm taking a step back from phones, well, sort of, and talking about my 5 favorite places that I visited as editor-in-chief of Phone Dog. I've been in this position for just over 4 years. I've been to some amazing places for press conferences, meetings, and more. Thought it'd be fun to wrap it up and tell you which ones are my 5 favorites. It's 5 on Friday. I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and here are my favorite cities that I've traveled to for work. One of the perks of working in this industry is that there are events and there are meetings everywhere, and as editor-in-chief I have to attend a lot of these different meetings, events, workshops, things for work, business development deals that have to be conducted off-site in another city, and lots more. I love the travel. I will say, after years of doing it, sometimes it's kind of hard to travel 100,000 miles a year. Just to give you kind of background, I traveled last year 107,000 miles on a plane. Before that, the year prior, I traveled 104,000. It was like 104,200. in 2011. So lots and lots of travel. I'm on an airplane every other week, it seems, and I've gone to some amazing cities. Absolutely love everywhere I've been. Each place has a unique thing that's cool, perhaps a unique thing that's not so cool depending on the city. There are places I love. You name the city, I've probably been there for work, be it meetings, events, trade shows, whatever the case may be. Even if it's a city that I've stopped at on some sort of layover or had a flight change, I consider that a city I visited for work, I guess. Wouldn't that be a city you visited for work? But anyway, here are my 5 favorites out of all the places I've been in the world for 5 on Friday, my 5 favorite places. I'll start with number 5. Number 5 is Las Vegas. And for those people that are watching this and actually work in the industry, you may be thinking to yourself, I hate Vegas, or I don't care for Vegas. I'm there all the time for CES or CTIA, which they hold it every couple of years in Las Vegas. We're there a lot for work. What I like about Las Vegas is it's surprisingly easy to navigate. I mean, the meetings are typically on the Strip, the events are typically on the Strip, all the press conferences are on the Strip, so be it at one of the convention centers or Venetian or the Palms or any of the hotels, it's pretty easy to navigate. And yes, the crowds may be crazy, particularly for a CES, which gets attendees upwards of 150,000. I mean, it's a busy show. But you know what? Las Vegas is pretty easy to navigate. And honestly, I've been there so many times now. It's one of those, like, you land and you just kind of go into cruise control. It's like you land, you know the hotels, you know where to go, you know the cabs to do, the things not to do in Vegas, and you get kind of used to it. So Vegas is definitely up there just for ease of use. It's easy. If you go in January or even like a March or April, the weather's not terrible, it's not too hot, and it's not too dry. That's 5th place. In 4th place, I'd have to say London. London is a place I go to at least 2 or 3 times a year, typically for work, be it for one-off press conferences or meetings or both, whatever the case may be. And London is just an easy city to navigate. Everybody speaks English, obviously. It's easy to get around. I do love the fact that the cars drive on the opposite side of the road. Still amuses me every single time I'm there, despite the fact, again, I've been to London countless times in the 4.5 years on the job. I like London a lot. That's 4th place. And 3rd place actually was Berlin, which my first time to Berlin for work was last year for IFA 2012. And I liked Berlin a lot. I loved how clean the city was. I loved how easy it was to get around. There's a ton of history, obviously, in Berlin with East and West Germany. Loved getting around in Berlin and was pretty impressed with the city. Number 2, I absolutely love. I love San Diego. I jump at the opportunity for any meetings or anything that goes on in San Diego, be it meetings I have to attend or trade shows. I love it when CTIA for years, every now and again. Actually, it was held last year in San Diego. And then in 2009, it was held in San Diego. And I think in 11, if I recall, CTIA Fall or whatever they're calling it now, MobileCon, was held in San Diego. It's a gorgeous city. And you go there in like September or October. It's not too hot. It's beautiful. It's right on the water. The Gaslamp District is super cool. San Diego is a place everybody needs to go at least once. And heck, Ron Burgundy's from San Diego, so that makes it super cool. He says stuff like, San Diego. I don't really have a good Ron Burgundy accent, but you get my point. And number one on the list, and I've been there a couple of times for personal, but the time that I loved it the most was when I went there for work. I had some meetings, and I actually had a weekend that kind of backed up to it, so I was able to spend some time there as well. Seattle. I absolutely love Seattle. It is gorgeous. Pike Place Market is super fun. Space Needle, all the stuff is there. Love Seattle. The weather wasn't too bad that week. Absolutely had a great time, both in the meetings, even in the meetings, and after the meetings, spending some time in Seattle. Love it. Beautiful city. Would love to go back on personal time and was really impressed with it. And I would definitely say it's probably my first. Though I will say Seattle and San Diego, I think depending on my mood, I would probably flip those back and forth between 2nd and 1st place. But those are my cities out of all the places I've traveled to. That is not mentioning New York, Orlando, Barcelona, countless other places we've been for work. And so, hopefully at some point, maybe I'll go to Korea, maybe I'll go to China, maybe I'll go to Japan for work. Who knows? Meetings and events take us everywhere. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage. Let me know what you want to see in the next 5 on Friday. at PhoneDog_Aaron on Twitter, Facebook, Facebook.com/Hi Aaron Baker, and on Google Plus at PhoneDog.com/G+. I'll be back next week with the next 5 on Friday, but in the meantime, hit me up with your ideas for what you want to see in next week's segment. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here next week.